testing the hypothesis that the TV is interacting with the viewer, watching the viewer. Like you, I was very skeptical before going into this, which is why I'm doing these tests. There's a lot of content out there talking about how your TV watches you, and I know a lot of people think that it comes through the camera, but I've also heard that it comes through the screen. The idea in itself is not that out there. It's just what exactly is going on and how does it work? And is there any truth behind it? It's interesting to see how widespread people's opinions are on this. Some people think it's way cray-cray. And other people are like, yeah, right on. This is exactly what's going on. I know what happens to me. So I just think that this is just one element in a series of things that happens in this reality that ties into synchronicity and that sort of thing. But let's have a look at it and see what this results in. All right, so now what I did here, similar to before, I played these videos at random without looking at the episode, the scene that I was playing. I didn't look at any of it, and I didn't look at the screen. There was a point in time where I decided to look at the screen, and I will let you know at what point that happens. So some interesting things happen in this video. I just want to share my findings with you. So let's see what happens here. All right, so the first show I chose, again, I was not looking at the screen. I was picking these blind. And funny enough, this one is called Shot in the Dark. And Night on Earth is the name of the show. All right, so I'll play the clip for you.
Crews work the night shift and use an array of cutting-edge camera technology. Some use ultra-sensitive cameras that can shoot in full color with just the faint light of the moon. Others filmed animals with thermal imaging gear designed for the battlefield.
It's designed for the battlefield being Earth. These cameras everywhere, which is the test I'm conducting. These people were watching game, running animals, which is us basically. It's like we're being watched in the game. Okay, so this is the second one. It's Shetland. It's a continuation of the previous scene where it was all wide open field. This is all wide open field, and then you've got the yellow and the black, which was a recurring theme in some of my videos. We're talking about the black and the yellow, may or may not be relevant. And then this scene again has to do with a wedding. You got a bride and a groom, and remember in the previous video I did, they were talking about the liquefied face of G.I. Joe, and these two characters, the bride and the groom, have masks on, and it's kind of like their faces melted. You can't really see their faces. Also, it says, welcome to Skelwick. Skilvik, Old Norse head of bay. Skel could be skull. Again, the girls are wearing crowns.
And there's your husband-to-be. John looks much better in real life, honest.
But with muscles at least. Come on, should we get drinking? Come on.
Now the lady said that her husband to be much better in real life. Maybe that's a reference to it being much better in real life than to be in the TV.
Very welcome. What are you doing here?
Buying you a drink, hopefully.
Now, according to Aaron's research, drink and food and that sort of thing is a coded reference, and we do know that they speak in code. It's a coded reference to drinking and eating your energy. And so this guy's like, what are you doing here? And he's saying, I'm buying you a drink, hopefully. He's looking right down at the camera when he says this, trying to perhaps reference the fact that I'm not looking at the camera, so it's only a hope that he can buy him a drink.
I'm sorry I haven't seen you since Fran's funeral.
No, it's okay. I'm a busy man. London's not exactly down the road.
I just want to point out a couple of things. They're sitting in a bar having a drink, and this gentleman is sitting, he's wearing purple, and he's sitting under an exit sign that's green. This is going to come up later. Now, this episode was called Deadwater, and now we're on to a series of unfortunate events, and this is called the Reptile Room.
This is driveway with you, much less international waters.
So the last show had to do with water, and this right off the bat says waters. So that's kind of interesting. And he's standing between two plants. These are the two pillars, the sun and the moon. And he's in the middle with two suitcases.
I guess I'll have to take my own luggage.
So she said she would rather, that she wouldn't go with him. And perhaps that's a reference to me not watching and not coming with him. And the suitcases, according to Aaron, have to do with suitcases, cases, cars, suits. All of that sort of thing has to do with them wanting to wear bodies, as they possess bodies or manipulate bodies.
Sonny! Let her out this instant. She won't be able to breathe.
I'm so tired of having...
And the suitcase is a baby, and they say the baby can't breathe. So this is sort of following on with the pregnancy motif or the pregnancy theme. I come to realize there's another meaning for pregnancy or baby, and that is your inner child and birthing your inner child. And again, we have a reference to the yellow and the black from the previous scene. But this also is a brick road, and this bus is yellow, is supposed to represent the yellow brick road, and it's surrounded by a serpent. I mean, this show is full of codes anyway, so it's not surprising that this stuff is in here. Most shows are full of codes, but whether they are actually directed at me or not is the subject in question.
Explain everything, dude. You're supposed to be so smart, and you persistently seem to forget about this.
I'll leave some breathing holes for her.
No, stop!
I'm kidding. That's not the suitcase she's in. I don't think.
Don't hurt her.
So they're concerned because she can't breathe. Now, can't breathe comes up a couple of times. But again, you know, that's an overarching theme to what's going on right now. He says you're supposed to be so smart, yet you persistently seem to forget about this knife. And so he's using that there's an exit, there's a way out, there's a way to breathe.
And get in the car.
So he tells the kids to get in the car. And getting in the car is supposed to be symbolic of getting in the body. Okay, and this one here is the stranger. The stranger could be referring to me, the fact that I'm not watching the screen, so I'm now a stranger to them.
There.
Oh, you didn't. Okay, so you know what? I'll just...
I know, right?
In this scene, the camera goes on both sides of this glass divider, which to me represents both sides of the screen or the veil, and now they're both on the same side, and that's why they're having this conversation. She's asking to sit down at my table, and this is me with the purple tie, and she tells him, I know all about you. And he says, I would rather you didn't sit with me not looking at the screen, because I've rejected what they've been doing.
Lady.
You're what we used to call a ladies' man, a shagger, meant to put it about. Sit down, Mr. Price. You'll want to hear this. The affairs you've had over the years, it's caused a lot of pain, a lot of unhappiness.
Who are you?
Just someone who knows.
Yeah. Who sent you?
No one.
No one. Oh, because I don't know you and you certainly don't know me.
I know enough.
I'm trying to figure out who is behind the screen, and this guy is saying, who are you? I don't know you, and you certainly don't know me. And she says, I know enough. And so it's like, who sent you? No one. I just find it really interesting conversation.
What do you want?
Nothing.
He asks who sent her. She says no one. He asks what does she want. She says nothing. No one and no thing to me equates to source.
Then I think we're done here.
You have a child coming of your many affairs.
The theme was pregnancy, and so maybe the child from the many affairs is from my interaction with not knowing what's going on in interaction with these beings per se, could have yielded the child of the truth. Okay, now we're on to a show called Lennox Hill, Night of the Dead. Again, this is a show about night. The first one was about night. And the second show was about dead water.
My daughter made this from camp. What's it called? A hamsa?
It's cute.
I use it for a good luck charm.
Food?
Yeah, because I rub it so much.
The first thing he mentions is that his daughter made that decal from camp, and he rubs it a lot because it sounds like he misses his daughter, which comes into play later on.
It's one of my nervous twitches. You know my other nervous twitches? I twirl my hair.
That I know, that
We deal with death and dying, and you know, I always say death dies but regret lives. And what you don't want to have is regret that lives on.
So he talks about death and dying, and he goes out the fire exit. The other clip that we had with Shetland, they had a drink under the exit, and it was a green exit. The red exit means to leave here by fire, and the green exit means to leave here through the heart chakra, through love. The theme of death and dying is recurrent in this clip.
This actually.
So remember in that other video clip, there was a town called Welcome to Skelwick. Well, now we've got a skull. So, and it's like a close-up on a skull.
This is one of my patients gave this to a young girl who died.
No.
He's also wearing cat ears. The girls at the bachelorette party were wearing cat ears.
Roughly 10. That's why I keep them, because they reckon that's her. No, she's like 20 years old.
He also made a reference to Halloween costume, which is when you wear a mask, and this is a picture of a woman wearing a mask. Again, not like it's unexpected considering what we're experiencing now, and this is a medical show, but I picked these shows blindly. I was not looking at the screen. So let's see where this goes now. Alright, so now we go from a medical show to a show called Bloodline. This clip is actually incredibly interesting.
Like it.
Isn't it beautiful out there? So much life going on under the waves. It's all around us all the time, and we so rarely get to see it.
Under the waves means a frequency. All of this is happening all around us all the time, but we rarely get to see it, and now we're seeing it by interpreting what they're telling us.
I have a flight out of Miami tomorrow morning. I need to cancel. Is there some kind of bullshit penalty I have to pay?
He talks about flight, and in the previous video I did, there were references to flight and flying fish, and so he's trying to cancel the flight, and he's asking if there's a penalty he has to pay, so maybe he's getting into trouble for canceling the flight.
Hungry.
These people are all wearing blue, and she comes in with some food and says who's hungry, and they're not getting any energy. I'm not giving them any energy, so maybe that's why they're saying they're hungry.
What's she doing?
She's just sitting out there.
So this part kind of creeped me out because it says, what is she doing? She's just sitting out there. And I was literally just sitting out here. I wasn't watching, wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting out here. So it kind of freaked me out. Now, what happens next is they make a lot of noise to try and get my attention.
You have to do that right now? Huh? It's for Mom.
So he says, do you have to do that right now? Because it's really noisy and annoying. And he says it's for Mom. And so the reference is for Mom is to me.
Last time I saw him, we just talked about business.
You were driving in his truck. God, he was happy. He was the happiest I've ever seen him.
And where'd you guys go when she dropped us off?
Just went for a drink and a talk.
So in the first clip with the dead water, the man drove in his car and went for a drink and a talk.
About what?
Oh, he wanted me to take on more responsibilities at the end.
Would take on more responsibilities at the inn. According to Aaron, an inn is a host body. All right, so we got Hell on Wheels. This one I'm gonna actually look at it.
Father! Truth!
Now, when she first said that, it sounded to me like she said, it's truth, not it's Ruth. It's like she was calling out to say, I was back. I'm now watching the screen.
Your daughter.
What are you doing here?
Mother died.
From the previous show, the doctor was missing his daughter, and now this daughter is reuniting with her father. And also in that clip, somebody had died. And then in the other clip, it was about death and dying as well.
I can't even find you.
Well, we'll send you the mission to Council Bluffs. We'll take care of you.
The mission sent me here. This is...
Yeah.
Okay, so they talk about the mission. So a mission is a discharge of service, or it's an organizational effort to spread enlightenment. So the mission sent her here.
You're not staying here.
I have nowhere else to go.
She can stay in the church tent.
place till we get back. I'll decide where you go when we return. Meantime, there's a bed in the back.
Thank you, Father.
Okay, so she exits out, and there were a couple other scenes that had exits. And so he was saying you can stay in the church. Church represents a chakra. I'm not really sure whether that means you can stay in the chakra or you know, go back and stay there till we get back. Go stay where? I'm not exactly sure.
How long has it been since you've seen her? 12, 15 years. I don't exactly recollect. And you're just gonna leave her here? In a place like this?
So that was kind of interesting. You're just gonna leave her here in a place like this, like leave her on this side, or is it talking about me leaving me here? Okay, this one is Cable Girls, and this was really interesting. Okay, so in the previous clip, she said, "Father, it's truth." And this episode is called Love.
You're late. It's only 12:30, Marga. Well, it's still later than usual, later than you should be. Donna Lola would say that it's too late. Carlotta, if I'd known you were here, I'd...
Okay, so she says you're late and makes a big deal out of it. And then that's because I was late coming to watch the screen. I was watching this a little more than I was watching the previous clip. So she's mad because normally I just watch TV, maybe, and this time I've been withholding my energy, and now she's mad at me for not giving my energy.
Sooner. Were you just with Don Carlos? You look so happy.
Well, my life is getting sorted out and things are going well.
Notice she's also wearing purple.
Has he asked you to get married?
Face it, if you girls still think she's one of us, you're mistaken.
Okay, so then she refers to, again, getting married. And they say, if you think she's still one of us, you're mistaken. Listen to what she has to say next.
She's on the side of the enemy.
Side of the enemy. So going through the process of removing yourself from this realm, perhaps, puts you on the side of the enemy to them because they can't get your energy anymore.
Did you know about that machine? The one that your Carlos had Miguel built? Lydia, we're your friends. When were you going to tell us? We'll all be left jobless. Wait, no, you won't lose your jobs. Carlos destroyed the rotary himself. I don't think he wants to see it be developed.
Well, I say he does, because they're rebuilding it right now, and Miguel says it'll be working in a day or two. Let's go.
Girls.
Okay, so they're talking about a machine. I obviously don't know what machine they're referring to, but it's a machine is some sort of contrivance or to be able to have power, and this is related to their jobs. So their jobs are something to do with power, and getting power could be associated with getting energy. And a rotary is what they called it. A rotary is wheels, a potter's wheel. Man was fashioned on a potter's wheel. So that could be related to a body or the zodiac. So Carlos destroyed the rotary, doesn't want to see it developed, and they don't believe her.
If you want, I'll talk to Carlos and I'll do what I can to fix this situation. Give me a chance to help, please.
I left this part because there wasn't much in it that I wanted to decode, but I wanted to include it because I wanted to show you what I had at the very end. In the beginning of this clip, it said it's 12:30, you're late.
It's only 12:30.
Well, look what time it is.
It's 12:30.
And what's even creepier? It's not even 12:30. This clock says 8:30, this 10:30.